Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Dominions 4 Multiplayer Showdown Season 2. My name is Sabouts, and I'm really excited to welcome you guys back to the world of Dominions 4. For those of you that were around for Season 1, we had a huge blast with it. It was a lot of fun, and we all very much enjoyed it, so we knew we wanted to come back and do a Season 2 with it. For Season 1, we did the early age, and for Season 2, we're going to do the middle age. So for this episode, it's going to be an introductory episode, so basically in episode 0. I'm going to go ahead right now and let you guys know we're going to be talking a little bit about who's going to be joining us. Going to talk a little bit about the rules of the series, which are going to be pretty important. And then carry on over into my pretender creation, who and what I chose for a pretender, what nation I chose, and why. And then we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about what the battle plan is for this series. But yeah, it's going to be big. It's going to be fun. We're going to have a blast. So let's go ahead. Joining us for this series, we've got 7 players. So for those of you who were around for Season 1, as you recall, there were 4 of us, now there's 7. There's going to be Das Tactic, back again for round 2, as well as Dwarf Comic and Wade Star, also back for round 2. Then we've got a couple new members to the playthrough. It's going to be Battle Moose. He's going to be joining us. We got Marcus Aurelius. Finally managed to drag him in, so we're excited to have him. And then we went ahead and pulled along Tortuga Power, and he's going to be joining us as well. And then that 7th one, that's me, Sabouts, and I'm going to be playing and having a grand old time here on my channel. So the first thing I want to get out of the way is it is highly encouraged for those of you watching my video right now that you guys check out everybody else's videos. Now, those of us who are actually playing the game, we're not allowed to go watch each other's series. We don't want to spoil anything, but you guys are definitely highly encouraged. In fact, I almost go so far as to tell you to do it. Go watch their videos as well, because that's what makes this series really shine. When you get to watch the series unfold from everybody's different point of view, it makes a completely unique and exciting experience, unlike anything I've ever seen in the Let's Play community. It's very unique. For those of you who watched the Season 1, that was really the shining moment, was the diplomacy, the role-playing, getting to watch how we all reacted to each other, but how all of us were in the dark about what was going on. But you, the viewer, you knew exactly what was going on. And it made a very... it made for a very entertaining series that was taking place, especially in the realm of Dominions 4. So once again, I highly encourage you guys to go check out everybody else's series. I know there's a lot there, but you won't regret it. I went back and watched all of the Season 1 videos from everybody's channels when I got done playing our playthrough, and it was really exciting to watch how just everybody played and reacted to each other, and just it was very unique, very different. So, once again, highly encourage that. Now, with that said, I do want to make a note that we very kindly ask you guys not to spoil anything until the series is completely over. So, to give an example, don't go to other people's channels and warn them that I'm about to declare war on them, or that I have large amounts of troops stationed in a particular province, because just don't be that guy, because really it does ruin the game. If you go and do that. Now, just like Season 1, we're going to go ahead and stick 5 turns ahead of the actual videos that we are releasing. So when you're watching a particular video, understand that we are sometimes 5 to 10 turns ahead of that video. So while we do highly suggest that you guys give tips that don't involve spoiling anything, there's nothing wrong with giving tips about, hey, go for this particular magic, or go for this, this unit's really good, or, hey, you should move, things that aren't going to spoil the game. I'll let you guys decide what that is and isn't. I have 100% full trust and confidence in my community. I know you guys won't do that. Season 1 went great without any spoilers, and I know we won't have that problem in Season 2, but I've got to bring it up just because it's important. But like I said, highly encouraged to give tips, especially on my channel. As a lot of you know, I am still a very new to Dominions 4, and I'm definitely not a Dominions 4 veteran like some of you out there, so I do highly encourage lots of tips and suggestions on my channel, so long as it doesn't spoil anything for this particular playthrough. Now, a little bit about the actual game. The map we're going to be playing on is called, I believe it's pronounced Parganos. something along those lines. I'm sure I'll mess up every single name in the game, so for those of you watching my series, be prepared that I'm just going to butcher everything, and I want you to live with that right now. That's your warning. It's a wraparound map, so that'll be good. It's going to make for a lot of fun. Season 1 was a wraparound map, and I enjoy the wraparound maps because it's just a whole different level of playing. Now, we're going to go ahead and we're going to move on to Pretender creation. We're going to move on to the nation I'm playing and what I'm doing for this playthrough. If you are one of the 7 people joining us in this playthrough, I do ask that you turn away from the video now so that you don't see all of my dirty secrets. If you are a viewer, get ready. We're about to dive in deep into this and go over a little bit of my plans here. I've been watching a couple guides and reading a couple guides online, so I've got some pretty cool and exciting things I've thought up for this game. So let's go ahead and go into game tools and view our created pretender. There's our pretender there from season 1, and here is our pretender for season 2, the Lich King. That's right, we're playing middle-aged Airmore. Now, before you guys jump in, I'm going to mention it right now. I want to get it out of the way. Before you guys jump in and start saying, middle-aged Airmore is super overpowered for a multiplayer game, I do want to come out and say that this is not a competitive match. It's simply for entertainment and enjoyment. It's supposed to be kind of role-playing and fun. There absolutely is no severe competition going on. Nobody's going to walk away with like $1,000 in a trophy. It's not what we're doing. So we're trying to make it entertaining. We're letting anybody play any races. We're not putting any restrictions on. I know that from some of the other guys' videos who released their introduction videos and mentioned middle-aged Airmore and that I was playing it. Some of their subscribers were kind of like, you guys know that middle-aged Airmore kind of ruins the game. Yes, we're well aware of what middle-aged Airmore does, but that's the exciting part. I'm kind of like the evil in the world. And I imagine I'm going to get ganged on and wiped out pretty quickly in the early game, but you know what? It's all about role-playing, and that's what's going to make it fun. And I promise you guys, I have all sorts of really cool and interesting things that are going to really add to the role-playing effect for this series. For those of you who out there who really enjoyed the role-playing aspect in Season 1, get ready because we're ramping it up to the next level in Season 2. So let's take a look at the actual Lich King that we created. Pretty intense setup. You guys are gonna look at this and be like, what the heck is going on? What are you doing? I know, it's insane. So the Lich King, the Master Lich, and this is what we're looking at actually for all of our stats. Now, what I actually did down here is kind of a mess, but I've got a decent amount of research ability, but we're not going to be using our Master Lich for the most part for research. We're going to be using him for a lot of other stuff. I did go ahead and go dormant with him. I did that because frankly I did need the points. Now most middle-aged Airmore players, they do like to imprison their pretender. I didn't go for the imprison simply because I feel like I'm going to get ganged up on. I don't think I'm going to make it that long to wait for the imprisonment. So I did need the extra points to be able to build a strong enough pretender that I could do lots of really early game strong summoning, but I couldn't risk going too long without my pretender for the fact that I'm very concerned that there's going to be a coalition against me. And as middle-aged Airmore, that's exciting for the role-playing aspect because I'm going to tell you guys, I'm going to try to kind of, I don't know, maybe sow some seeds of hate between the other alliances. I might maybe try and get some people to do some things. We'll talk more about it as we push forward. You guys will see. I've got a whole plan laid out. We'll see how it rolls out. But went ahead and threw a bunch into Astral Magic just because there's a couple of spells in Astral I really like. I can't really think of them off the top of my head, but when we get in the game, we'll go through all the research and take a look at some of the stuff I'm eyeballing. Taking a look, we obviously wanted to go, I wanted to go with level 10 Death Mage. That might be overkill, but I do not want to have absolutely any issues with being able to summon anything or perform any various magic that I think is going to be important. We got to remember that middle-aged Airmore, units just spontaneously spawn throughout my provinces, and it's a lot of microing with managing my units around. But on top of that, I don't necessarily build units. I've got to summon them. And I don't want to have anything that's going to prevent me from summoning strong units that I'm going to need. On top of that, it also does give me a lot of bonuses to my blessed units and such. I get the Undying trait, which I can't think of off the top of my head how it exactly works. It gives them like negative hit points, and I'm sure a lot of you guys know exactly what I'm talking about without me even talking it, but we'll go over it as we get in the game as well. But like I said, I'm sure a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. And then we got our basic undead traits, which a lot of our undead units are going to have, and that's pretty important because, even though we're only poor amphibians, that still means we have an opportunity to invade water provinces, and there's a lot of potential in water provinces, especially between ambushing our enemies. Our particular pretender strikes fear, pierce resistant, we're susceptible to fire, is a 10, a cold resistance 15, so we're looking at poison resistant, which is good. We're undead, lifeless, we don't need to eat, we're immortal, and got dark vision. So pretty cool. And a lot of our undead units will have all sorts of nice stuff too. The best thing about undead units is their morale is really high, but they necessarily, because they're undead, they don't break, they can't retreat. So our enemy's just going to have to plow through them. The goal of this playthrough, simply overwhelm everybody with massive numbers. But it's not going to be enough if they gang up against me. So I will have to play rather tricky with the diplomacy. Like I said, you guys are going to see how that plays out. Went ahead and got Dominion 9. Why? Because even though Middle-Aged Airmore is kind of cheesy when it comes to their Dominion killing, remember guys, somebody's going to gang up on me. If it's not 1 or 2 or 3, there's going to be a group that gangs up against me. Nobody's just going to let me run rampant. I promise you that. So if you think in your head that, I've got a kind of a cheese thing going on here, and Middle-Aged Airmore is pretty cheesy, and, the Dominion killing and ruining the land, I promise you, it's going to be me versus like half of everybody on the map. So keep that in mind about what's going on here. I'm already preparing to take on pretty much everyone. I've kind of, between the emails and stuff back and forth, I'm pretty much well aware of what's going on. So that's why I went with a strong Dominion 9, because I want to make sure that Dominion's not an issue, and I do want to kind of force my opponents to have to really fight on the borders of me with their Dominion. I went ahead and went negative for these here. And the reason I did that is because it really doesn't matter. My undead units, they don't eat, so supplies isn't really that big of a deal. Income used to upgrade defenses and everything, but like I said, we're really just trying to create a endless rolling wave of undead warriors, and that was really the #1 goal. So to get a lot of the points I needed to get my units where I thought they needed to be, or my pretender where I thought he needed to be, I went ahead and did take a lot of negative here. And reading a lot of guides online, that does seem like what a lot of people do, so I don't feel as bad about doing it, and we're just going to have to see how it plays out. This is your chance to see in video form how this kind of plays out. I think we're going to be okay, but I went ahead with the fortune of 3 because that's what a lot of the guides online said that was pretty effective to do, because a lot of how many undead units you get randomly per province is based on fortune, and also being able to have mages show up, finding items, and also we are going to need gems and everything, and death gems, and we're going to have to hopefully find a lot of those. So we're really hoping that the high fortune is going to allow us to find a lot of things, as well as just have a lot of good luck that'll make up for a lot of this, and then will hopefully help feed our armies as well. And then I went ahead with a little bit higher in magic. I did that because I am really kind of hoping that maybe we'll find a good amount of gem sites, because like I said, we're going to be doing a lot of summoning, and we're going to need death gems to do it. So even if I'm just finding any regular gems, and I'm not, but if I get even if I just get like some air gems and fire gems, I could turn them into astral pearls and death gems. I know it's a long process and you do lose out doing that, but at the end of the day, I'm fighting pretty much everybody on the map. I'm going to need all the death gems I can get, and it doesn't matter how I get them. So that's kind of why I went with the higher magic. So that's pretty much my pretender there. You guys can kind of take a look at it here and see what's going on. It's pretty self-explanatory for the most part what I'm trying to do when it comes to the pretender. We've got to play really strong defensively, but not so defensively that we turtle. We need to be offensive, but not so offensive that we stretch our lines. I'm going to be walking a really thin line in the beginning of the game, because I can guarantee on turn 1 and 2, I'm already going to have coalitions forming up against me to take me out. And that's where the diplomacy is really going to take an effect. So I've got to start thinking about how I'm going to make that all work for me. And it's going to be very interesting to see how it all plays out. So, like I said, for those of you that were somewhat against Middle-Aged Airmore being in the multiplayer game, I do emphasize that this is more of a role-playing game. We're not trying to play competitively and crush each other in the dust. We're really just trying to have a good time and make an entertaining series for you guys, the viewers, through role-playing, diplomacy, and whatnot. So, hey, if I end up being Sauron and everybody comes after me and tries to stop me, so be it. I think it's going to be funny and it's going to be cool nonetheless. But like I said, my biggest goal is to try to sow the seeds of hate between the different groups. And you'll see how I do that. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I think that's pretty much it. As for tactics, I kind of did cover a little bit. Like I said, you know, it's really going to be hard to gauge depending on where we start and everything. It's going to depend a lot on... It's going to depend a lot on where we start, what I start with, taking a look at my magic abilities and seeing what I can summon early game and whatnot. There's going to be a lot of different things there. And I'm going to be I've never played Middle-Aged Airmore before. I should probably say that right now, although it's probably way too late. I should have mentioned that at the beginning. I've never played Middle-Aged Airmore before. So, it's going to be unique and different for me, and I am excited to do it. Like I said earlier, if you guys got any tips or suggestions, definitely feel free to leave them down below. Do understand that we are a bunch of turns ahead at the point of watching these videos. So sometimes if you leave a really good suggestion, it may be possible that it's too late for me to actually follow through with it, and I apologize for that. But it's just the way that we got to keep kind of things a little fair. We want to stay ahead of the curve so that way if somebody does spoil something, hopefully it doesn't ruin anything, and we're far enough ahead that it doesn't impact anybody's playthrough. But again, you know, all sorts of tips, suggestions, greatly appreciated. I really hope that you guys do enjoy the series. I'll be down in the comments below, responding to all of your guys' questions and anything you want to say. Going to be really exciting. Definitely hang in there, guys. And again, highly recommend you check out everybody else's videos so you can get a feel for how everybody else is going to be playing their playthroughs. Because I can assure you, they probably have a lot different tactics than mine, and maybe most of them are even talking already about how they're going to take me out. I wouldn't doubt it. I would not put it past them at all. So that's where we stand. But I want to thank you guys for joining me for this introduction video, and I look forward to seeing you in episode 1.